Gaetano Cavalieri for giving us this introduction and also setting the scene in terms of sustainability and responsibility in the jewelry industry. What I want to speak about today is more about what the aims of this forum are and what our project has been in the last 2-3 years. The goals of the forum today, I've tried to boil it down to a couple of points. One is to bring together pearl producers and the trade around the theme of sustainability. And I think that we've already achieved that. There's really some major pearl producers and also some smaller pearl producers, traders, retailers who have come here. There's an interest. We want to present the business case for sustainable pearls. That's what we've done research on in the last 3 years. And my colleague Julie Nash will be speaking this afternoon. We'll be presenting you brand new consumer data from the US that's showing that there are clear, significant, that there's significant evidence for consumers that they're interested in sustainability. We want to highlight the pearl farm stories, which is why we invited some of the pearl farmers to come and speak and share their experiences and stories. And we also want to discuss a draft of sustainable pearl principles. We had an internal meeting about this yesterday. It's something that's ongoing. I just want to share some of that with you too. And in the end, ultimately, the idea is for pearls, for us to still have high quality pearls in 50 or 100 years. We're striving for the long term. That's what we consider sustainability to be in this context. We want a healthy pearl industry that produces high quality cultured pearls for the future. The business case for sustainable pearls, quite a bit of text here, but I think it's worth going through. From the study that Julie's going to present in the afternoon, I was very surprised to see the results that came out just a few days ago. 78% of US jewelry consumers that were surveyed agreed that their behavior can have a positive effect on society by purchasing products, such as jewelry, that are sold by socially responsible companies. So clearly consumers are interested in having a positive effect. And also interesting is that 66% of these consumers, it was slightly over 2,000 consumers that were surveyed, said that if a fine jewelry product demonstrated that it can positively impact the environment, which is what some of these pearl producers who are here are doing, because ladies were asked, would be more interested in purchasing fine jewelry. That's a very clear message that consumers are interested. The message that came out strongest was pearl farming, when it's done responsibly, if it's shown to have a positive impact on coral reefs and biodiversity, this is the message that consumers respond to best. And Julie will say more about that in the afternoon. I want to talk a little bit about our project, SustainablePearls.org. It's been going on for 3 years. And just 3 components. One is being to study the sustainability of pearl farming. What does sustainable mean? Do we have indicators? What kind of standards could we have? How could we measure this? These are things that we've looked at in the last 3 years. A second point, and Michael Chernitsky will be talking about this in the afternoon, is how could you trace pearls through the supply chain? Are there ways of doing that? And there are solutions that we've developed that we would like to present. And the third one is there a market for sustainable pearls? And if so, how can we market that? And that's what Julie Nash will be speaking about. I want to acknowledge here, as Celine did at the beginning, funding from the Tiffany & Company Foundation to do this research. It's been ongoing for the last 3 years. And I just want to point out here that our project's focus has been on marine cultured pearls, not freshwater. Could be in future, but in the first step we're working mostly with South Sea and Tahitian cultured pearl producers. Some accomplishments briefly. One, I think the best thing to do is to go on our website, sustainablepearls.org. All the publications that have come out or some results from the market survey, all this will be openly accessible on our website. It's our philosophy to share this with the people who have helped us do this research. We've gotten funding from National Geographic and the Waite Foundation. Ken Carpenter will be speaking about that. And there was last year even an article on National Geographic called The Rise of Eco-Friendly Pearl Farming. So even National Geographic is interested in this. Good news, I think. We organized a Pearl Forum in Munich at the Emergenta Fair, and they generously helped us with that in February. And some very recent news. Sustainia is an organization in Scandinavia that promotes sustainability, and they chose and selected our project as one of the 100 best innovative solutions for sustainability in the world for this year. So people are interested in this. NGOs are interested in these solutions that some of the pearl farmers, the work they're doing, how they're going about it. There's clearly an interest for this beyond the jewelry industry. And I think that's worth mentioning too. As I mentioned before, I'd recommend that you visit our website if you want more information. I don't have that much time to discuss all the things today. And I want to actually get straight to the meat of the thing. We talk about sustainability, it's a word that's so often used, deep responsibility. Well, what does it mean? How can you make it meaningful? How can you contextualize this for consumers or even for people in the trade? So we came up with some principles, some basic principles that some pearl farmers that we've worked with have commented on or have seen, and it's still an ongoing process, which is why I'm calling this draft. The first one is protection of the biosphere. And this is what the wording in a draft version would say, that the pearl farmer safeguards all habitats in which they operate, that they strive to conserve biodiversity, ecosystem structure, and ecosystem services, and that if anything goes wrong, that they will promptly and correctly remediate this. Second one is sustainable use of natural resources. What does that mean? That could mean energy efficiency, but it could also just mean that you're operating responsibly with how you use your fuel or how you work with your environment. And as somebody pointed out yesterday, it makes sense because the pearl farmer takes a lot of energy to drive those boats around. You want to keep your costs down, so you're actually already trying to be energy efficient. The third one is production transparency and product disclosure. Tana mentioned something about the blue books and how do we disclose products, if they're treated or not, or where they come from. This is something you need to tell your consumers so that we still have consumer confidence in the trade. A fourth one is to develop and operate farms in a socially and culturally responsible manner in the communities that these pearl farmers work in, which is here in Fiji. And the last one, because we really wanted to bring this down to 5 simple messages, was about management, and that company management is also responsible for environmental policy, and so in the long term. Now, I just put these out there, and I want to bring back some background to this. The first one is, why are we even proposing principles? The reason is that sustainability is so overused, people don't know what it means. It needs to be tied back to clear messages that can also be audited or that need to be meaningful, that can be accounted for, and this is what's going to happen in the next step, but it's needed. You need to put words or images on what you're trying to say. And we want to adapt these to the realities of the pearl industry. And the reason that we do this is because the survey is actually showing that there's a clear business opportunity for sustainability, so principles are one way of doing that. We've looked at other standards such as RJC and ASC that can help us towards that. These again are 5 guiding principles. And the reason is also to give a platform here for the pearl farmers so that they can tell their stories. Each pearl farmer and each pearl is unique, and we want that to go across. It's not just a pearl with a label on it. The story of the farmer has to come through. And now I come to what this forum is and who will be speaking today. So we wanted to do this in Hong Kong because Hong Kong is a central hub for pearls. We have 3 panels today. One on protection of the biosphere, which is actually this panel here. A second one on management commitment to sustainability. And a third one on promoting sustainability throughout the pearl value chain. We wanted to take different aspects of the principles and have people present what that means. Gaetano gave a great introductory speech on responsible business practices. What does that mean for the jewelry industry? And what could that mean for the pearl industry? Then some of the gentlemen who are sitting down here will be speaking about protection of the biosphere. James Pasquale from Australia on how his farm is committing to minimizing ocean impact. Mr. Robert Wan from French Polynesia on how it is to farm cultured pearl oysters in a coral atoll. How do we protect these corals? Douglas McLaurin from Mexico speaking about, interestingly, their pearl oysters were depleted, and actually managed to restore some of these pearl oyster beds. And Ken Carpenter is a professor from the US who talked to us about the marine conservation potential of pearl farming. The first session in the afternoon will begin with Andy Hart, who's come from New York from the Tiffany & Company Foundation, to speak about what CSR, or corporate responsibility, means for a manufacturer and a retailer. Mr. Branilek from Jewelry Jacques Christophe will talk about how his golden pearls are farmed in the Philippines. Josh Humbert from Tahiti will talk about how he's training locals and working on social entrepreneurship in Tahiti. And Mr. Akamatsu from the Mikimoto Company in Japan will be talking about education. How do we educate pearl consumers and how that is important, and how sustainability is actually linked to high quality pearl production. And And the last panel is one that's more on marketing and on sustainability in all the supply chain, not just production. With Julie, and I think these are very, very interesting results, and few people have seen these results, and such a study has never been done for pearls. So I would really, it's well worth staying for this, the results that she's presenting. Fiona Solomon from the Responsible Jewellery Council will be talking to us about how the Responsible Jewellery Council is dealing with diamonds and metals and what standards they're developing there. And Michael Chudnitsky from SSCF will be talking about how pearls can be traced through the supply chain, so from the producer all the way to the end consumer. And our closing speaker, and I'm very happy that she was able to make it, is Louisa Ho from the Nature Conservancy based here in Hong Kong, one of the largest environmental NGOs in the world. And we wanted to have this as a closing speaker to kind of come full circle with this. Why do we need this? Why are we talking about environmental conservation and pearl farming? Because the conservation community is also interested in that. And I think that there are a lot of synergies to be found there. And with this, I come to the end of my talk, and I just want to give you a quick title. I found this headline interesting. This was an article in 2012. Very tight, want to clean ocean, wear more pearls. Interesting motto, something to discuss today. I'm sure the pearl farmers would be happy if people bought more pearls. So I want to finish off by saying thank you to the Tiffany & Company Foundation, and also to supporting partners such as SSCF, Inorganic Munich, and Fukui Shell Nucleus Factory, and the 3 universities that Celine, Julie, and I come from for helping us bring this project to where it is. And with this, I wish you a very interesting Pearl Forum. I hope this is also an opportunity to network and to learn more things about other producers or other people. Have a good forum and enjoy it.